So welcome to today's experience of Hope Starts Here. We're on a journey with Jesus towards Easter together as a church because when a lot of people are isolated physically or socially, we want to be more connected with Jesus and with each other than ever. And so we saw yesterday that Jesus is the light of our world. He is our hope. Hope begins with him. And I want to invite you as we get ready now for today that you take a moment to still your mind and you might breathe in hope, breathe out fear. Breathe in love, breathe out ego. What we want to see in Jesus is his great desire to be your friend. He wants to be with you. John begins this way. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. And then in verse 14, this passage climaxes with this remarkable truth. The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. We have beheld his glory. It's like God, who has always wanted to be with the human race. In fact, Dallas Willard said once that the great unifying theme of the Bible is the offer of the with God life to the human race, focused primarily in the person of Jesus. And the writer of John uses a wonderful little word when he talks about Jesus making his dwelling among us. It could be translated, he tented among us, or even he tabernacled among us. The word that was used in the Old Testament to describe the tabernacle that symbolized God's presence with his people, God's great desire to be with women and men and children. It's almost as if God is saying, I want it so bad, I can't stand it anymore, so I'm just going to go down there in person. And that's Jesus. And he comes to be your friend. In fact, he says at one point in this gospel to his disciples, I no longer call you my servants, I call you my friend. I love how Eugene Peterson puts it in the Message version of this. He says that Jesus came and moved into the neighborhood. At a time when we think a lot about distance, Jesus wanted to be real close so that we could understand that God is not just the one who gives words of wisdom. God is the one who offers the touch of friendship, the touch of love. In this passage, it says that Jesus has life in him. In the Greek language, there's two words for life. Bios, from which we get the word biology, physical existence, survival. We're thinking about that a lot these days. But another wonderful word for life, zoe, which means life of another kind, eternal life, abundant life, rich life, full life, overflowing life. And that's the word that John uses here. In him was Zoe. I know of a woman whose name Zoe, when she was born as a little baby, she was real premature. And her mom was real concerned about her survival and named her Zoe. And the doctors initially said she only had a 5 to 10% chance of surviving 3 days because she was just about 6 months old. Her grandfather, Max, was told by the head nurse that he had to be surrogate father because the biological father skipped town. Max said little Zoe was so small, he could take his wedding ring and put it over her hand all the way up to her shoulder. And the nurse said, every day you must come in and you must gently stroke her little body. And every day you must whisper her the words, I love you, because she must learn to connect your voice and your touch. And that is what Jesus does. That is what the incarnation is about. In Jesus, the voice of God and the touch of God are connected, and you can know him as friend. This is what you can see in him. This is what we can love in him. And we can follow him in this by inviting him to go with us through the day. We do that now. Jesus, will you be our friend? I'll see you tomorrow.